Well, indoor racing has come to an end for this year. Probably won't indoor race for a while, so it's about ready to go outdoor. And unfortunately, outdoor usually doesn't have a stock spec class in a lot of their two-wheel drive classes like buggy or short course or even trucks. So what I'm doing is I have my 17.5 motor. This is my Vulcan that I've been using for the past almost a year now. You can see my Roar sticker on there from last year's Roar Nationals. So this is the 17.5 motor. And what I'm going to do is just replace the stator with a 10.5. That way I can run outdoor. So I went ahead and I ordered the 10.5 right here. And you can see on the back it says 10.5 right there. And it's the red wire. And this is for the Vulcan motors. So I'm going to show you guys how you swap that out and basically switch from going from the 17.5 to a 10.5. So first thing you're going to do on these Vulcan motors here is you actually have to get them apart, and to actually do that it's very simple. On the front here you're going to see these three large screws, and you basically just undo those, and I'll go ahead and do that now. So once you get the motor out of your car, go ahead and unsolder it, and then you undo these three top screws here. And once you get them out, they are very long, as you can see right there. They're almost the length of the entire motor. And that's what holds the can onto the end bell, pretty much, is what it does. So once you get that out of there, as you can see, this is a 17.5 with the Novak motors. They're all color-coded, so yellow is going to be your stock. And then, of course, this one is blue. And that is going to be your 10.5. I can't remember the other colors off the top of my head. I know there's a red and there's some other ones there. So once you get those screws off, all you have to do is pull this one straight off. It's kind of magnetized in there, so you kind of have to wiggle it a little bit to actually get it going. At this point you can actually take a look in here and see if you need to clean the bearing in there. You don't want to use any motor spray on this, so just wipe it out of there and basically just clean what you can. So the next part is getting the end of the motor off. This is going to be the back end assembly, and this is pretty easy. I just pretty much just pull it away from the stator there, and that will remove. Make sure you don't lose that fiberglass insulator that's on the inside of this. Just keep it in there. Sometimes you may have to replace it, but this one looks pretty good, and I'm not actually going to. The new stator actually comes with a new fiberglass insulator, so that's always a good thing too. And you can also clean anything you see in here. This one is fairly clean. I'm not going to actually do anything to it. So I'm going to set that aside there. And now we're going to take a look here, and we're actually going to get the rotor out of the inside of the stator. This is magnetized, so sometimes you need to use some pliers and you can grip it and pull it out. And then make sure you don't lose those two little washers that are on the end. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them in the video here. They're right there at the end of that screwdriver, and they're on the shaft. You can see them wiggling here a little bit. You can pull them off now if you wanted to, or just keep track of them. I usually just keep it on there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out of here. Sometimes it's like I said, it's magnetized, so sometimes it can be hard to get out. There we go. And you've got the rotor out of the stator here. And again, you got to make sure you watch yourself with these, because they are pretty strong magnets. But as you can see, this is my yellow 17.5. And it's a red wire. You can see the red wires on the inside of there. So this is what I'm actually going to be changing. This is going to be swapped out for that 10.5. So go ahead and set that aside. So once you get the new stator open, you'll see there's a few things in here. This just basically has a little diagram on the back of it, and then it shows you which stator it is. So this is the red wire 10.5. And put that aside. And then inside of there, you get a little installing instructions. And then again, it has a breakdown of actually their Vulcan, their ballistic. Basically, they show you a breakdown of both of them. So that's kind of good, and gives you an idea of what you need to do if you've never actually looked at the inside of it before. And then in here, you get the new insulator there, and then you get two stickers. One says 10.5, and the other one says high RPM. You see that? And here is the new stator itself. Set that aside. So this one, they don't etch anywhere on here where it actually says 10.5. It's just written on here, so 10.5, and it's hand wound, so they put an H, I believe is what that is right there. And then you can see this is also the red wire, and it's blue. So that's how you can tell the differences between the Vulcan motors. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll put this inside of the can, and I'll get the rotor back in here and put it all back together. Again, be careful when you put it back together, because again, it's a magnet and it's going to want to snap back in there. So I usually put my finger on this side and kind of slowly let it go in so that way it doesn't snap. And then I still have those 2 washers on the end of this, so make sure those are still there. And then I'm going to put the back end back on, so make sure your fiberglass insulator is still on there. And then you can go ahead and work this back in. So you're going to put the end of the shaft inside of that hole there and make sure it lines up. There we go. So that's all you have to do there. Since it is magnetized, it's wanting to push its way back out, as you can see, like that. So you just kind of have to hold it for right now, and make sure that you got it on the right way. It's kind of hard not to put it on the right way because it's slotted, so it actually goes around the soldering tabs. So you can't really mess up that process there. And then we're going to go ahead and get the can put back on. So on this, you're actually going to see that there's these slots here, and that's where the screws actually go in, and they don't actually screw into the stator at all. They just go through here and then they screw into the end bell itself. So what you do is just line up your 3 holes with those notches there, and you can always turn the can whichever way you'd like. So I usually have the can facing down that way. So I'll go ahead and slide that on. Kind of have to work it on there a little bit. Sometimes it slides on pretty easily, but again, you're fighting a magnet, so you got to remember that. There we go. Make sure my screw holes are lined up, and then I'll take my screws here and just slide them back in. So I usually just put one at a time and then get it kind of lined up a little bit better that way. So got those screws worked back down in there, and then I'm just going to tighten them up here. You don't have to, crank them or anything. You're just going to tighten them down. Make sure they're all tight. And there you go. So, went ahead and I got that stator swapped out. That's the only part you're actually swapping. You're not swapping the can, you're not swapping the end bell. You're just basically replacing the stator itself. And here's the 17.5 that I took out of there, and I put the 10.5 in. These are all their spec motors, so they've got the 10.5, they have a 13.5, and then they've got the 17.5, and they're all different colors. And then their lower turn motors, like the 7.5 and so on, I believe are just all black. They don't actually have a color. I haven't had one of those in a little bit, so I don't remember what color they are right now. But that's pretty much all you have to do. The reason I did it this way instead of buying another motor is because it's a little cheaper to do it this way, and I'm only using one motor at that point, and this is the only car I really needed to change the motor turn in. So I'm going to use this for outdoor. That way I've got a little bit more power.